It's already 9 a.m., so time to wake the fuck up, because North America's rising. And right now, right damn now, it's time to get your ass, ears, and mind on this here little ride with me, Amy Suzanne. So let's go, and let's roll, people.
I'm not one of those cushy studio types, plopped on a velvet chair strutting like a peacock, hollering, "Hey, look at me."
Yo, what's good, North America? It's Amy Suzanne, your truth-slinging ex-topless dancer with a law degree in her back pocket, VNA, WDBG CEO and directress show host here on North America's Rising Show, coming at you from WDBG VNA, where we don't just talk the talk, we walk the damn block. Today, we're turning up the heat with a special guest, my girl Andy Lee, of X's at The Real Andy Lee Show. Back when Andy was making her first ever on-camera splash with her viral clip, One White Girl's Political Opinion. This ain't just a debut, it's a freaking revolution. Andy's been dropping truth bombs since her days as Hannah's Bananas, and now she's a cornerstone of VNA Canada USA's VNA 1210 on YouTube, slinging exposés with rebel news that make politicians sweat. Many have commented that I'm one of, if not North America's sexiest and fiercest broadcast commentators, but I'm gonna debate that now because the girl you're about to hear from and see, my friend Andy Lee, got a lot of, if not everything, this here girl me, Amy Suzanne's got going on too. Now here's Andy. Well, almost. Let's set this stage first. Andy's journey? It's wild. Back when she was a Hannah's Bananas, she was already stirring the pot on X, calling out corruption with a wit sharper than a switchblade. From Canada's snowy prairies to the digital battlefield, she built a cult following with her raw takes. Think Charlie LaDuff with a maple twist. Then she linked up with our VNA 1210 YouTube crew, then on her own show, The Real Andy Lee Show with Mark Patrone, where she's been dropping investigative gold from day one of her own show, a show which many have emailed us saying she should start doing again, or at least come aboard with me on North America's Rising to co-host. Her work with Rebel News? Oh, it's next level. She's dug into political scams, from shady government contracts to backroom deals, and from commie Chinese collusion to voting and election interference, as well as other commie Chinese skullduggery. When it comes to commie Chinese skullduggery of any kind, or Government of Canada, malfeasance, and other assorted bullshit, Andy Lee's an expert, oh so adept at it as she exposes and nails it all, as well as each and every one of the actors and players. For Andy, it ain't just about making headlines that shake Ottawa's core. It's about bringing you the truth that state legacy media and others won't. Andy's got that special kind of thing, you know, she's 100% sexy, intelligent, knowledgeable, and oh so real, 'cause part rebel, part scholar, all badass. So buckle up, 'cause we're diving into her story, and it's gonna be a hell of a ride. All right, fam, let's rewind Andy Lee's tape. Picture this, a young Canuck, keyboard warrior, going by Hannah's Bananas, spittin' truth on X like it's her day job. Back then, she was already a menace to the corrupt, taken on bureaucrats and corporate cronies with tweets that hit like a Detroit left hook. Her posts? Hilarious, savage, and so damn real you'd think she was sitting in your living room breaking it down. She wasn't just rantin', she was exposin'. Shady land deals in Alberta, sketchy political fundraisers. She had the receipts, and folks ate it up. That's when VNA Canada USA's VNA 1210 spotted her. We said, this girl's got the juice. Andy joined our media and press guild, and boom, she went from solo sniper to a full-on investigative beast. Yup, right from the get-go, day one of being an independent member of VNA's Voices of North America, Andy's been dropping bombshells and doing it on her lonesome, as well as with us and other media and news organizations like Rebel News, True North, and on her own, The Real Andy Lee Show with Mark Petroni. Yet we, as well as many of her and our viewers, often emailing or phoning in, saying they wish she'd get her fine lil self back on camera and start doing her own show again. Like that time she uncovered a city council scam in Calgary, millions in taxpayer bucks funneled to a developer's pet project. Her reporting? It's like Lou Gordon reborn, but with better hair, much sexier rack, and a genuine Canadian female accent. She's got the grit of a street fighter and the smarts of a lawyer, digging through documents most folks wouldn't touch. And let's talk style. Andy's got that cool, no-nonsense vibe, like she's ready to debate a senator or dance at a dive bar. VNA Canada USA gave her her first on-camera platform, but she built the damn stage. Her work's got us all hyped, and it's why VNA is and North America's rising, and I would be proud to have her here on this show with me as a co-host, as we'd crush shows like The View. Yup, us two real patriots and conservative real biological girls would indeed crush and slay shows like that, so stay tuned, because we're about to hit you with her Rebel News hustle next. Now let's talk Andy Lee with Rebel News, where she's straight up torching the establishment. Rebel News ain't your grandma's newsstand. It's the rebel yell of journalism, and Andy's their secret weapon. She's been diving into Canada's darkest corners, exposing political corruption like it's her cardio. One of her biggest hits? Uncovering a federal grant scam where millions meant for small businesses ended up in the pockets of connected insiders. Andy didn't just report it. She got the emails, the contracts, the proof, and aired it all out, making MPs squirm on live TV. That's our girl. Her work with Rebel News has racked up millions of views, from her deep dives into Ottawa's lobbying scandals to her takedowns of corporate greenwashing. She's got politicians checking their closets for skeletons before she knocks. Andy's clips are viral for a reason. Her One White Girl's Political Opinion we're showing today? It's her first on-camera flex, and it's pure fire. She breaks down complex issues with a smirk and a shrug, like she's explaining it to her bestie over poutine. Rebel News gave her the mic, and she's using it to amplify the voiceless, just like VNA. Whether she's grilling a shady official or dropping truth on X, Andy's got that LaDuff-level swagger, minus the beard but twice the charm. Her work's changing the game, and we're proud to shine a light on her. Next up, we'll wrap this with why Andy's debut is a big damn deal. All right, North America, it's time for the main event. Andy Lee's first on-camera appearance in One White Girl's Political Opinion is dropping today, and it's a freaking milestone. This clip, born from her own special blend and mix of Rebel News, Charlie's and Lou's real reporter and broadcast commentator grind and polished by VNA, it shows Andy taking her X game to the screen for her very first time. We're just airing it again to show what kind of winner Andy is, unstoppable as well as in your corner doing it for public service and for you, like a real one's supposed to do. She's breaking down Canada's political mess with a wit that'll make you laugh, cry, and want to storm Parliament. From her Hannah's Bananas days to now, Andy's been a truth teller, but seeing her on camera? It's like watching a rock star step into the spotlight for the first time. She's got the brains, the sass, and the heart to make you care. Why's this matter? 'Cause Andy's not just talking, she's fighting for folks like us, from Detroit's Delray to Canada's Maritimes. Her work with VNA and Rebel News is about giving a voice to the screwed over, the ignored, the betrayed. She's exposed corruption that's cost families their homes, their health, their hope, and she does it with a smile that says, "I know you're lying, and I'm calling it." Many have commented that I'm one of, if not North America's sexiest and fiercest broadcast commentators, but I'm gonna let y'all see that could be said of my friend Andy too. Now, 'cause the girl you're gonna hear from and see now, my friend Andy Lee, got a lot of, if not everything, this here girl me, Amy Suzanne, has going on for her too. Now here's Andy. So let's roll that clip and watch her shine, then come back to North America's rising for more truth, more fire, more us.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is one white girl's political opinion. Most of you know my face from Twitter, but I've never heard my voice before because I've never done this before. It's my first time, so go easy on me. I have an admission right off the bat. My name is not Hannah Banana. I'm Andrea Lee. Call me Andy. We've got some big things to cover here tonight. So settle in, check your privilege at the door, grab a drink, and we'll pop my podcast cherry. It's been a busy month here in Canada. Big month. We've got protests, pastors, polls, Bill C-10, Antifa, and yes, finally a budget. All the good stuff. Now, a lot of these things have been touched on by other right-wing media, so they might be familiar. But while you might think that these are all separate issues, trust me, they're not. They're all very much interconnected, and I'm going to show you how. So first, the budget. The first one delivered in over 2 years, created by the first female Minister of Finance Canada has ever seen, Chrystia Freeland. I'd like to point out that women have never been known for being on time. I'd suggest we consider that next time we choose a finance minister if we want an occasional glimpse into our country's financial state. It's a feminist budget. None of us know what that means or what it's all about, but we are all going to find out. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a feminist budget is not a good thing after reading all 724 pages of it and finding little of it of any economic use. I once said Chrystia Freeland is suffering from a fiscal psychotic break, and it has never been more evident than in this document. And as she's a feminist, God help all women. This is a government that deserves to have the entire Me Too movement mobilized against it, and then some. But I digress. This budget reads like a not-profit special interest manifesto, not a country's economic recovery plan. Why this government can't just do anything normally is completely beyond me. Everything always needs to be sliced and diced into category, and of course, we all know that their specialty is race. In any event, I'm going to have a look at the few of the goodies in there, and I'm going to tie them back into some of the goings-on in my neck of the woods, Calgary, Alberta. So, there is a group which you may or may not have heard of, the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. It sounds like a good thing, right? Who wouldn't be for anti-hate? Who could be against anti-hate? We all should be, because they're anything but what they claim to be. They perpetuate hate. What they really are is a special interest group funded by the federal government to promote anti-conservatism. By doing so, they pave a yellow brick road for the Liberal Party of Canada to introduce legislation which will suppress opposing viewpoints, namely Bill C-10. Sound far-fetched? Consider the inception of the group. Anti-Hate Network is a spin-off from a group founded in the United States called Southern Poverty Law Center. The association's mandate is stated as being a catalyst for racial justice in the South and beyond, working in partnership with communities to dismantle white supremacy. Something we've heard an awful lot about lately here in Canada. Now they, like Anti-Hate Network, claim to be tracking hate. They even have an interactive hate map where you can track what kind of hate group you'd like to follow by region, or if you prefer, ideology. Now, while there are legitimate hate groups included, what both are mostly tracking is social conservatism, and by extension, Christianity. If you go to the group's website, antihate.ca, you will see numerous posts attacking social conservatives right over top of the logo of the Government of Canada. We know that Justin Trudeau is no fan of Christianity. He's done little to hide the fact. I called him out very publicly when he wished Canadians a happy long holiday weekend in April. The holiday, which he didn't bother to mention, was Good Friday, the second largest Christian holiday in existence. His failure to name the day was a slap in the face to Christians all over the world. It's no surprise then that federal funds would be funneled to groups who are out there witch hunting social conservatives, who are generally a fairly religious bunch. We've seen ample example of this right here in Alberta, as pastors who defy lockdown orders to hold service are tracked down like dogs. Jagmeet Singh recently landed himself in some hot water when he equated anti-lockdowners with far-right extremists to the offense of many. And while it is undeniable that there is a link, we also know that every extremist group always catapults themselves onto legitimate movements to blend in. They camouflage. The insinuation by Singh was very badly received and rather unfair to those who were protesting the loss of their livelihoods. Now, in 2018, under Trudeau, the Canadian Anti-Hate Network was created with funding provided to them by none other than the federal government of Canada. You, me, us. They have received numerous grants, courtesy of Canadian taxpayers, from Minister of Creating Diversity Between Canadians, Barta Chagger, and Stephen Guilbeault, Minister of Heritage and Criminal Activity. Stephen is also the noble champion of the new censorship bill C-10, tabled here recently in Parliament. Incidentally, BMO is also a big contributor to anti-hate. They made a large donation last year. When Anti-Hate received this donation, they put a notice up on their site. Part of their funding initiative stated was to create free educational materials for teachers and parents to identify radicalization in youth and prevent it. This is important, people. Remember this for later on. Now, I'm sure it's a total coincidence, but BMO also manages Trudeau's blind trust inheritance. What are the odds of that? By now, you may or may not be able to guess where this is all headed. If you haven't figured it out yet, you'll have to bear with me. It's a tangled little web to weave, as most government tales are. Now, ECHO's research was commissioned by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, or we, the taxpayer, if you prefer, because we actually pay for everything. The goal of the poll was to determine if we wanted and or needed to be saved online from ourselves. If you aren't familiar with ECHOs, it's a polling firm run out of Carleton University. If Carleton sounds familiar with Twitterers, it's because a Liberal member recently posted a picture of Conservative Minister of Jobs, Pierre Poilievre, wearing a black oil sands hoodie with a raised fist on it, claiming that this was a symbol of white supremacy. Ironically, this sweatshirt was worn in support of a Métis oil sands operation. I quickly put in an order for several sweatshirts, and I highly encourage everybody else to do the same. Sometimes doing your homework pays off, Carleton FLA. Lay off Twitter. Anyways, Carleton is in Ottawa, and the firm was founded by a Frank Graves. Graves has run into trouble in the past with conservatives, being accused of skewing research polls, liberal bias, and issuing an apology after stating that the party seem to provide a safe haven for people with xenophobic or homophobic views. Nice. Coincidentally, Echoes is also one of the never, ever, ever biased CBC media's polling firms of choice. That would be the self-professed Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Recall that CBC launched a copyright infringement lawsuit against the Conservative Party of Canada whilst having the gall to moderate the English language leaders debate in 2015. If this is not the very definition of a conflict of interest, then I don't know what is. The lawsuit, which never had a chance in hell to begin with, was just crushed in court. One for the good guys at last, even if it was at our own expense. Now, this Echoes poll determined that Canadians found that 73% of respondents believe online hate speech and racism is a problem in Canada. If you consider the amount of discrimination flying out of the PMO's office, I would say that those results are accurate. But that's not what it's talking about. They posed a question: would Canadians support stronger measures to monitor, limit, and remove online content deemed offensive? After an overwhelming majority of Canadians felt that the correct answer was yes, amendments were made to Bill C-10 and full-blown communism was off to the races in Canada. So we have liberal anti-hate groups and Canadian media pushing the ideologue that conservatism is synonymous with white supremacy and using our own tax dollars to do so. We have a government that peddles reverse racism in everything it launches. Why? Why do they do this? Put it this way. If you wanted to push a bill that would infringe on citizens' charter rights and grant yourself absolute censorship powers, how best to do that? Create a narrative of hate, incite mass hysteria and fear centering around discrimination that hardly even exists in the bulk of the populace. Now, when you create a critical mass of racial polarization, you can manipulate that mass at will, which is the goal of the Liberals. They simply do not want us united because a people united can be a dangerous thing for autocratic dictators. Now, I don't think that the party started out that way, but once having realized that driving a wedge in between the citizens was effective, I believe they chose to keep driving it in deeper. Isn't it amazing how we never heard about this white supremacist epidemic sweeping our nation until Justin Trudeau sat on the throne? And now Liberals want to increase this sort of programming via Bill C-10. So our federal government is tricking us into rooting for censorship against ourselves in flagrant violation of our own charter rights with our own money. We cannot help them stick a rolled up newspaper down the throat of freedom. For those of you not familiar with the bill, it was introduced last year with the intent of regulating Canadian content. It would supposedly give national media parties a leg up against large foreign competitors. While proponents argue that there is nothing to be concerned about, that is simply not true, especially when you consider the source. This woke ministry has a long-standing history of picking away at the freedom of expression. Stephen Guilbeault said that the only people who are opposed to this bill are extremists. Steve, being best known, of course, for scaling the CN Tower in a wizardly display of eco-terrorism and being arrested for the not-so-noble green cause. Forgive me for not trusting this type of typical pretzel logic pearl of wisdom. Now, caving to pressure, Steve says that there will be amendments made to the bill to protect individual media rights. We will look at those changes another time. There's a bit of evidence out there that this autocratic little gulag has had it out for free speech for quite some time. Rewind back to fall of 2020. In France, a teacher was beheaded for displaying a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad. In typical Trudeau style, and not one to miss a chance to offend a fellow world leader, he stated that there are limits on free speech. While that is not entirely incorrect, it was an utterly unreasonable response to a tragedy. The stunning display of ignorance was of course condemned, and while he later apologized, he also doubled down and reiterated that freedom of expression is not unlimited. Enough said. Catherine McKenna also came under fire recently when she tweeted out, "Resistance is futile." Who in the hell in their right mind says that to their constituents? Quite a fitting message, drawing a parallel between the federal liberal government and a race of self-described superhuman beings who had a groupthink cult collective and were all for genocidal tendencies. Keep in mind, US media's CNN's Jake Tapper coined an entire term for this odd phenomenon. The blind following of Trudeau was very fittingly deemed true anon. Now, after making those sort of statements, this government is saying they're not aiming for public compliance? I just don't buy it, especially when you think about how many images are floating out there on their internet that our liberals would love to scrub. Now, back to Anti-Hate Network. If I asked you if you would fund Antifa, would you say yes? No chance in hell, right? If you want to see what sort of increased quality programming we can expect to see, look no further than CBC. Last year, they aired a Fifth Estate documentary they did on the Canadian Anti-Hate Network called Confronting Hate. The show explained how we have Antifa, yes, Antifa, on our side tracking down hate groups in Canada. Ironic, isn't it? And of course, it's the group that is best known for trying to roast people alive and burning buildings. We, the taxpayer, are funding it. Yeah, shocking, isn't it? This just shows the willingness of our government to jump on board with special interest groups and support them without a concern for ulterior motives. Or perhaps, as I brought up, they are jumping on the racial bandwagon on purpose because it suits their needs. The bomb on this Fifth Estate show was dropped when CBC, in typical incompetent CBC style, allowed a badly blurred individual to be outed as Kurt Phillips. Phillips, who is on the board of Anti-Hate Directors, is also furthermore a teacher in Drumheller, Alberta. That's right, we have an Antifa sympathizer teaching our children in public schools. Now, I do believe that people have the right to a private life outside of their workplace. This guy's hobby, however, seems to be stalking Christian pastors. I'm going to go a step further and say that I wouldn't even call him a sympathizer anymore. He is Antifa. Him and his lackeys stalk, dox, and harass people and proudly post it up to Twitter under the name @ArcCollective for all to see. Going back to the children, one must wonder what sort of a balanced education they're receiving. Circle back for a minute to the educational materials provided. Concerned? We all should be. I never asked Antifa to introduce material into my children's classrooms, nor would I ever want them to. I consider taking an opposing stance on Antifa to be a soundness of mind test. Not to mention the fact that it's questionable of our liberals to be planting wokenology into our public schools, which are provincial jurisdiction. a lot amongst ourselves as conservatives about the broad indoctrination of our children. And it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's the God's honest truth. It's happening. Then to boot, we have our national broadcaster, well-funded to the tune of over $1 billion a year, with an extra 21 million pinky sworn in by our feminist extraordinaire Freeland in our budget, defending a designated terrorist organization which tries to barbecue human beings. I put my own child in private school at great personal cost to avoid exposure to the sort of parasitic liberalism that is running rampant through our public school system. Don't forget, parasites harm their hosts. I suggest all of you do the same. Pull your children from public school, if at all possible, before their little minds are liberally warped. Interestingly, along these lines, True North put in a request to Minister Bill Blair's department, listing groups like Anti-Hate with Antifa ties and asking to see briefing notes on them. The request came back with no record shown. There's a breadth of data of groups being added to the far right, but no ticks are being racked up on the left. There was a report released in 2019 called the Public Report on the Terrorist Threat to Canada. In this informative little gem of a document, the words right wing appear 11 times. Meanwhile, the words left wing do not come up at all. Anything to tie the right to white supremacy and extremism. The government seems to be wearing blinkers when it comes to far-left radicalism and ignoring the dangerous movement that is Antifa altogether. The ultimate problem with left-wing radicals is that at the end of the day, they only support their own agenda. They can be used to drive a diversity wedge between a population for a time, but eventually they always run amok and devolve into anarchic behavior. View Exhibit 1A, Black Lives Matter. The government's failure to recognize the threat that is Antifa is a threat to us all. Now, we all know that anti-hate is pro-Antifa. They make no effort to hide it. It's not a secret. They, like Antifa, tend to take matters into their own hands. They stalk churches who are peacefully gathering, posting videos afterward, boasting of their harassing endeavors. They chase pastors around in cars, car chases. Now, some of these pastors may have questionable affiliations. That is undeniable. But since when do we fund our own secret civilian police force? I'm not trying to advocate the defiance of public health orders for religious purposes, but it is quite something to see a government-funded organization engaging directly in vigilantism. And the liberals continue to build this organization up brick by brick with their own money. Anti-hate's tentacles stretch out further than Canada, all the way to the other side of the planet, actually. On their site, they posted an attack article against a prominent Twitterer, which most of you will know. Ian Miles Chung. Naturally, they call him a member of the far right for having normalized views. Now, one of Ian's specialties is pointing out the reverse racism dished out by the Liberal government of Canada. The funny thing about all of this is that Ian is based in Malaysia. Malaysia. Imagine wanting control of internet information so badly that you fund a group with taxes to go after a person in a far-off country. The Liberals aim to neutralize any threat possible and have no qualms about the cost of doing so. It's no wonder we have $1 trillion and counting deficit on our hands. So this agenda is what many of these racially representative groups are all about. They help our government rein in control over what we're able to do by helping push legislation through and discrediting dissenters. Stephen Ubal, Minister of Forthright Propaganda, got nailed again when it was shown that he paid lobbyists $375,000 to oppose anybody speaking out against Bill C-10. The lobbying group was a coalition of the Delivery of Cultural Expressions of Montreal, or CDC. We do so love to toss cash at the funding leech jewel of Canada, Quebec. Again, we are throwing stacks of bills at these groups, which operate under the guise of inclusivity, but have an endgame that looks like civil oppression seen only in communist countries. A short visit to this site will show anti-conservative messaging front and center. An article at the top is named Bill C-10, Conservatives Sacrifice Culture on the Altar of Partisanship. The claim is that conservatives are not for the bill because they want to cancel cultural content, particularly in, wait for it, Quebec. A rich statement from a group that actually advocates cancel culture. It's not entirely surprising that the Bloc have decided to back Bill C-10. The more goodies for Quebec in exchange for free speech repression, the better. Now, these are the same sort of Fed-funded groupies that play pin the tail on the gender game and advocate the protecting of our youth against gender dysphoria by creating it with mixed takes on biology. It's a sickness of a scary sort. It's a disease that's infecting our everyday way of life and time-honored norms in favor of pseudoscience. Of course, these gender geniuses never consider that maybe the rise in dysphoria among youth is directly proportional to the amount of twisted logic they're perpetuating. We have woken gender ideology so extreme we can no longer use the word woman in context of pregnancy. We have to say pregnant people instead. How is this consistent with the leftist mantra of equal rights for all? The liberalism infection will be continued to spread far and wide if we stand for silencing of people, as in Canadians, reporters, and free press journalists like myself. If Bill C-10 passes and survives the inevitable court battle ahead of it, let's just say it's been real nice getting to know y'all. Now, there is an excellent chance, despite numerous legal reasons why it shouldn't, that with Bloc support, the bill will fly. It will be interesting to find out who was in what pockets on our Supreme Court bench that day. So our tax dollars are being used for the very best of censorship work against conservative viewpoints. They create a demand through an imaginary hate crisis, and then when they try to tighten the vice on our freedoms, they will say it's all for our own good, all the while regulating what we can see, hear, and eventually how we think. It's subliminal mind terrorism via government media control. We see this in the Chinese Communist Party. It's so important to be able to examine individual elements and make connections. Once you've been questioning things, you won't be able to unsee those inquisitions, okay? Find the common ties that bind. Look for the hidden agendas. They're always there. In this case, the common link is the vilification and repression of conservative voices. We have to make sure that we do not aid this represented image by taking the race bait, as hard of a pill as that is to swallow. Amongst ourselves, we ponder why Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are still in power. The reason is simple. The Liberal Party of Canada and our favored state media mouthpieces like CBC are actually making fake news a real thing. The people who aren't asking questions lap it up. The more division and chaos you create within your population, the more excuses you have to tighten the control reins in your own favor. Now, I started with the budget, and I'll end with it. It is a massive, messy document full of virtuous promises that won't be kept, but for some. Our parliamentary budget officer, maybe one of the last nonpartisans left in Canada, has decried it as an utter failure. Hundreds of millions of dollars are going towards groups that preach diversity and equality, but do not own it. Groups like Anti-Hate, advancing the leftist troops slowly but surely, one step at a time. Look hard at these groups, keep your eyes on them, and every time you will see the not-so-subtle art of skewing conservatism in an unsavory manner. Don't forget, Chrystia Freeland wrote in her book Plutocrats that political decisions helped to create the super elite in the first place. What is our government trying to create here in Canada, aside from a commie socialist disaster like Venezuela? Only time will tell. Remember this Orwellian thought. The pigs that ran the animal farm also thought that they should be the only ones to live in houses, as opposed to the mere sty. It's a dark place, and we are diving into it head first. Now, an election might soon be thrust upon us, and with that comes an opportunity for course correction. But should we lose, don't forget, resistance is not futile, McKenna. We will not assimilate, we will not cower, and we will not be silenced, because we love and believe in our country and we want to keep it just how it is. Live long, friends, fight for your rights, and prosper. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to leave some feedback, and maybe I'll see you next time around. Bye, Canada.
Well, North America, you just heard me throw it back to 2021, hyping up my girl, Andy Lee. Yep, at The Real Andy Lee Show on X. That monologue? Straight fire, spilling her brilliance, her grit, her knack for slicing through lies like her voice is a switchblade. Why'd I replay it? 'Cause Andy's a truth teller, a VNA sister exposing shadows and fighting for freedom. That clip's a spark to show why we need this warrior back in the spotlight. Now let's get real. Andy's my old friend, a VNA OG, but she's been off camera, save for some quick X-vids and Rebel News spots, since her Real Andy Lee show with Mark Patrone left YouTube. Is it those crazed stalkers from antihate.ca and Antifa keeping you low-key, girl? I feel ya. I do my shows incognito via AI for the same reason. Us mama bears gotta protect our mini-me's, right? But Andy, you've been gone too damn long, darlin'. This new counter-view vibe we're building, it's your chance to hit back at those old nemesis, Rosie Barton, McKenna, Gilmore, all them clowns who tried using you as a dartboard for their ego and bullshit. So, hop aboard, sister, let's tag team like we used to. So, go ahead, girlfriend. Give me a shout, Cherie, 'cause this show's gonna be a winner, tailor-made for your killer skill set. Unlike those old gigs that ate up all your mommy time, North America's Rising won't weigh you down. We've got a whole team now, sharing the load, so us mamas can keep our mini-me's first without drowning in work like back in the day. Plus, Andy, our inboxes are overflowing with emails and messages from fans asking, "What's up with Andy? How come she's not doing shows no more? The people want you back, girl." So pick up the phone, hit me or one of us up, and let's spill the tea on what we've got planned. Trust me, this time around, it's gonna be easier, fiercer, and way more fun. Call me Andy. So I'm shaking things up, calling Andy to co-host North America's Rising with me and Kay Marie, aka Shorty, that smokin' hot, fierce, real biological female freedom queen many of our Canadian viewers know, holding it down since day one of the 2022 Freedom Convoy, protesting outside Parliament. Shorty's got heart, fire, and yeah, when she dresses to impress, she's smokin' hot just like Andy and me. Together, if Andy jumps on as co-host with Kay Marie and me, we're gonna be a buildin' us and our audience a conservative powerhouse, a counter to the View, thrashin', smashin', and trashin' Whoopi Goldberg's tired leftist drivel and the legacy media circus like CBC, CBS, ABC, and Global's mornin' snooze-fest talk shows. Their woke nonsense? Our vision is to shred it. And we're gonna do this, ma chère, as us three real biological conservative femmes know how, with truth, grit, and pure unfiltered conservative fire. Sure, we could go it alone, preachin' to smaller crowds on our lonesome, but why settle for less? Why Andy? 'Cause from day one, I saw her journalist chops and no BS style slash through the noise like a switchblade, formidable and fierce. And why this new twist on North America's Rising as a co-host tag team? Simple, me, Andy, and Kay Marie. We're the Views and every liberal morning talk show's worst nightmare. A trio built to hit hard, hand the voiceless a microphone, and amplify the people's roar. With Workin' Joe and Mary plus VIPs, we'll tag team the elitist legacy media machine, CBC, CBS, ABC, Global, you name it, taking them down with style and swagger. Andy, you hearing this, ma chère? Get your fine self back on screen. You, me, and Kay Marie, aka Shorty, that formidable freedom queen, will be a real-life nightmare for Kurt Phillips, his anti-hate .saw clan, and all those legacy motor mouths like Rosie B., McKenna, and Rachel G., and their quasi-religious clan who used to run their mouths in reply to what we said and tried findin' rhythm with us back in the day. Remember how we sent 'em packin', cryin' the blues after comin' at us with their nonsense? We were one hell of a midnight tag team in those Hannah's Bananas days, rulin' Dorsey's old adult romper room called Twitter, having each other's backs. Y'all out there who remember, you know the vibe. Now, with our fams and friends cheering us on, we're bringing it back. Two smokin' hot pros, you and me, joined by Kay Marie, an up-and-comer with all the natural gifts Vinny and even Ezra saw in you, Andy. So, ma chère, this is your invite to join us and make waves. North America, buckle up. This show's about to shake the continent once Andy hears Kay Marie and me spill the tea, fill in Canada's queen of news, investigative reportin', satire, and wit in on our big plans for North America's Rising. While we wait for Andy's call, let's hear from our friend Charlie, grindin' at the Coney Island joint in the D when he's not being a top-tier dad to his mini-me or outshinin' those self-labeled wannabe journalists running their mouths. Aight fam, we keepin' the vibe high with your girl Amy Suzanne, reppin' that real Detroit energy. Now, let's take a quick detour to big up our dope advertiser, Maison Close. Yo, this ain't just any brand. This is that sexy, high-class French female attire comin' straight out of France, hittin' y'all with that ooh-la-la fire. Maison Close is all about celebrating the real biological queens, making every curve, every look, every asset pop off like nobody else can. We talkin' all types of dresses that flow and slay, bodysuits that snatch and hug right, tops that got you looking sharp, swimsuits that make waves, and of course, the finest in French lingerie that's straight up luxurious. Every piece is designed to amplify what you bring into the table, your natural beauty, your fire curves, all that makes you you. Whether you're stepping out for a night in the city or keeping it spicy at home, Maison Close got that premium, elegant drip that screams power and sophistication. Slip into their gear, and you ain't just wearing clothes, you're owning the whole scene. So, my real ones, if you trying to elevate your style and feel like a straight-up goddess, Maison Close is the move. Cop some and watch how you shine. Aight fam, your girl's got a bounce for now, I'm ghostin', but in the true language of the D, à la prochaine, till next time. Make sure y'all subscribe and smash that notification bell so you don't miss what's dropping on my next show. We out. Well now, mes chéries, both the ladies and the gents in our audience who might want to splash a bit of that hard-earned cash to treat their favorite gal have just feasted their eyes on all that French female attire gear. Ooh la la. But hold tight. This girl's not diving into Charlie's antics just yet. Instead, I'm Amy, your ex-topless dancer turned media mogul with a law degree in my back pocket, and I've got a sizzling little promo for our pals at American Coney Island, a Detroit legend that's calling your name. For you Windsor folks, it's practically next door, just a few minutes by car, bus, or taxi. Or hop on a Via Rail ride from Toronto or Ottawa. It's cheap, scenic, and makes for a perfect day trip. Why bother? Because American Coney Island's got that iconic Detroit Coney dog you can't find in Canada. Snappy, smothered in chili, mustard, and onions since 1917. One bite, and your taste buds will be begging for more. But it's not just the food, darling. Detroit's buzzing with excitement. Catch a movie, cheer on the Tigers or Red Wings, or test your luck at the casino. It's all right there, turning a quick visit into a full-on adventure. Usually, I'd let Charlie or Red spin you a promo, but this morning, I'm shaking things up. I'm passing the mic to Grace, the heart and soul of American Coney Island, to dish out all the juicy details. So stick around. Here's Grace.
Hey, I'm Grace here at American Coney Island, downtown Detroit. Come and visit us. We're open 10 to 10 Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday 11 to midnight, Sunday 12 to 5. Or you can order a Coney Kit at AmericanConeyIsland.com. Downtown's kind of slow right now. Come on down and support.
Aight fam, we keeping it moving right here with your girl, Amy Suzanne, still holding it down with that real Detroit energy. Now before we drop this straight up classic clip from my dude, Charlie LaDuff, let me school y'all on who this cat is and why he's spittin' truth like no other. Charlie LaDuff ain't your average newsroom suit. Nah, he's a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter reppin' the D, born and bred in the heart of the hustle. His mama was out here slangin' flowers, and his family tree, full of real ones, lighthouse keepers, grinders, and folks who know what it means to put in work. Charlie's been deep in the game. Not just talking about the struggle, but living it. Riding with migrants, crossing borders, clocking hours at slaughterhouses, even fixing pipes at American Coney Island. Yeah, that's the kind of dude he is, getting his hands dirty to tell the stories that hit home. Now, let's get into what Charlie says a reporter ought to be. Forget them fancy journalist types who just type and don't look up. Charlie calls himself a reporter for a reason. To him, it ain't about chasing clicks or cozying up to big shots. It's about amplifying the voices of the underdogs, the workin' folks, the hustlers, the ones holding it down when the world's trying to break 'em. He keeps it 100, whether he's exposing crooked politicians or showing love to the everyday grinders. In his book, Work and Other Sins, he paints it raw. Firefighters, barflies, dreamers, all without the sugarcoat. And them viral clips, like that par 3-168 golf joint through Detroit's ruins, that's him showing the world what's really good, no cap. Charlie's proven reportin' ain't just facts, it's heart, it's soul, it's keeping it real for those who ain't got a mic. So fam, get ready, 'cause we about to hit y'all with Charlie's Ode to the Workin' Man clip. This one's for all y'all out there grindin', holding it together, and keeping it solid. Let's roll.
Everybody's got a history. Most everybody comes from nowhere. In every family, there's a cousin no one wants to admit to. We make stories about such people. Detroiters almost exclusively. Working people, most definitely. The dandies and the swells and the connected people we know say we make stories about losers and less thans. But they're wrong. We make stories about people. Our people. People who live in crowded apartments and ranch houses. People who shovel their own snow. And people who shovel other people's bullshit. People with fat aunties who wear stretch pants with stains on the ass. We don't do stories about people who pay doormen to open their door. We do stories about the doormen. We make stories about the laborer, the dreamer, the hustler, and the immigrant. Whether he's a writer from Michigan or a waiter from Michoacan. the cocktail set tells us they enjoy our cast of losers, we never mind them. We just smile and drink their liquor because they don't know what work is.
You know what I hear a lot? Charlie LaDove newsman, I thought you were dead. I'm not dead. I'm doing the news, the real news, right here, the No BS News Hour. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook, Odyssey, or download it wherever you get your podcasts. Power the people.
Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean, gangster white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean.